Get it ready, boys.
Are we happy? We should be. They won. For the 15th straight game, the Dallas Stars got at least a point, but they have won 14 of those. 14-0-1. They tied the franchise record. Are we upset they blew a 2-0 lead in the third period to get to overtime? Yeah, I think we are. But we have a lot more nuance than just that. It's not just comedy and tragedy. It's the DLLS Stars post-game show, which starts right now. Hey everybody, welcome to the DLS Stars post-game show alongside the two-time Stanley Cup champion and part owner of a 15-game franchise record point streak, Craig Ludwig. I'm Owen Newkirk, our producer Ryan Vaughters, and all the horns honking outside of people trying to get out of downtown Dallas after a 3-2 overtime win for the Stars over the Detroit Red Wings. Before we get into all of that, don't forget St. Patrick's Day is in a couple of days. Big celebration in Dallas today. Of course, the parade on Lower Greenville and all the fun and merriment that happened there. But you can still get a St. Patrick's Day themed shirt from All City at our website, alldls.com. And I would highly recommend that DLLS shirt with the little leprechaun on the back. All right, Luds. Are we allowed to be happy they won? Disappointed they had to use overtime when they looked like they were in the driver's seat? And made up ground on both Colorado and Minnesota. And yet, we don't apologize for a win, ever. But the third period was a little disappointing because it looked like Detroit didn't have a single goal in them after 45 minutes or so, at least 50 minutes.
Yeah, I think at the big picture, you pick up points on, a couple teams that you're trying to either separate from or catch, which is the important part.
Yep.
You lost a point to a team in the East, which doesn't matter. You got the 2 points that you set out for. We got to stay a little later. That's the disappointing part. But
yeah, you were hoping for a nice, quick,
I wanted a
third
really
period,
quick
right?
third. And I don't. What happened in the third? I mean, they got outshot. Stars got outshot 14-6, I believe it was, in the third period. So took their foot off the gas. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe just Detroit decided to push. They had nothing else to lose and try to throw everything at it. I think then you look at, the way that their first goal goes in, a little fluky off the back of Jake's glove and gives them a little bit of life. But again, Thomas Harley, when he gets to overtime, it's kind of what Thomas Harley does.
Yeah.
So all in all.
Well,
Bing, bang.
we got a big super chat, which is why it's right out front. I Love Missy 1985 with a Harley and a Ludwig. Oh, man. It sure didn't seem likely that we'd catch the Avs, but now we have to start asking the question, are the Stars afraid of the President's Trophy curse? The Stars did win both in 1999, but they lost in the Western Conference Final the year before in another President's Trophy year. Bloods, is there any reason for a team to believe in the superstitions that a President's Trophy team won't win the Stanley Cup?
No, it has nothing to do with anything. Yeah, you want that home ice all the way through the playoffs. I mean, you're not. It's got nothing to do with it. And I think for Dallas, I mean, for a team that's been, between Colorado and Dallas, both of them kind of been wire to wire. We'll see what happens in the remaining 16 games for 17 or 16.
16 for Dallas, 17 for Colorado because they forced one game
so
ahead.
We'll see how that all plays out. But no, don't worry about the curse. Just what the most important part is just continue to put your game out there. They've got their game. Dallas has their game out there right now, and I think they feel really good. They'll have a conversation about what happened in the third, but, it happens.
The thing that I like the best, obviously you like closing the gap on Colorado a little bit, is that they extended 2 points farther away from Minnesota. I'm not saying that I don't want this team to push to try to win the division, but I really want to make sure that in the pursuit of that they maintain at least home ice in the first round.
Yeah,
look, I could rant for an entire post-game show, I won't, about the flawed divisional playoffs format that doesn't really reward teams having a superior regular season record, especially over an 82-game season. If you have a better record, you shouldn't have to play the third place team in the conference in the first round. And you should reseed after the first round to the second round so that, again, you are rewarded for having a better regular season record.
In the last couple of days, I've heard a couple other bigger, better, more important people than we are
Than us.
rant about that same thing.
Yeah.
And the bottom line
What
that
are you
came out
hearing?
of it, and it said that they're all going to bring it up when it gets to the GM meetings in the summer.
Which is, there's one in Florida like next week, I think. Yeah.
They're all going to bring it up, and Gary Bettman's not going to change his mind.
Every time it's brought up, he completely says no. Like,
Yep.
I think it's the league
division.
office thing.
He's a big division rivalry.
He's bullish on this.
But again, it doesn't make sense to a lot of people because you should get rewarded for what you do in the regular season.
Yeah.
And apparently,
you've gone through it. How hard is it to navigate through an NHL 82-game season? It's going to be 84 next year, and to win the league or the conference and then not get the most favorable matchup in each round. Yeah. It feels like it's kind of a kick to you. Well, you did all that work. Well, it doesn't really mean much.
I actually heard him compare it to, and I'm not a basketball guy, but NCAA, the 64 teams, one plays 64.
Because they play a bracket.
But or whatever it is.
But they don't reseed it.
But that's what you're getting rewarded for. Everybody's I've even heard people go, they want to do 1 versus 16. I don't agree with that part. Yeah. I would like it to be 1 versus 8.
My problem with 1 versus 16, in concept,
it's
the theory
travel.
of it.
Big thing's going to be travel.
Yeah, I don't want to see a 3 time zone change in the first round. Right? Let's say you had New York, LA, or Boston, Seattle in a 1 through 16, and you're talking about Eastern time to Pacific time for a 2-2-1-1-1. You couldn't do that. Maybe if you said, hey, let's do a 2-3-2, but I liked the 2-2-1-1-1 7-game series. To me, that makes no sense. Keep it in the conference. No one's saying that it has to be 1 through 16, but I really like the idea of so a couple of years ago, Luds, they switched, they went to divisional and they decided we're not reseeding because they wanted that NCAA style bracket. The problem with that is that, again, reward the teams who did it for 82 games. And so if the number 5 seed makes it through or one of the wild card teams upsets, you should have to face that. It's like, look, that's just how it works. Now, Jim Nill always says, look, this is the format. It's going to be hard. We got to get through it, but this is a little ridiculous.
Yeah, and I said to you a little while ago, I said the team that's probably looking pretty good is if Utah stays where Utah stays, they're going to play 2 teams that are coming out of the Pacific more than likely, and then all they ultimately have to do, say they win those 2 rounds, and now they're just going to play the winner of, Minnesota, Dallas, and Colorado, whoever that's going to be. So you really have to play really one good team, and you can make it to the conference finals.
That's, a decent path.
You get there, and then, anyway, yeah.
Here's the fun. There's a couple of ironies about this whole thing, because one of them is you would think that you'd want to reward as it is, but it actually doesn't always pay off because they keep saying, well, hey, we want divisional matchups in the playoffs to further foment the rivalry between teams that face each other in the regular season. Well, lately, Colorado and Minnesota, sure, but the Stars have had just as many games again in playoffs against Vegas and Edmonton. And if you were asking who's their biggest rival, well, they played the Oilers in back-to-back conference finals. They've faced at Vegas in both a conference final and 2 times and a first round. And you go, well, the Stars and Knights are a big rivalry. Like, that's not even benefiting the divisional format. And then the one year, Colorado upset in the first round by Seattle, the expansion team, and they played the Stars in the second round. And just, I don't like that at all. But we're not going to get it changed unless
I aren't going to have anything.
Honestly, I think if Gary Bettman retires, and even then, I feel like the league is okay with it, but it would have to be a really substantial push. And then what did Bettman say the last time he was asked about it? He said, we had a whole CBA negotiation and nobody brought up. And my problem with that is that, again, you could speak to it as a player better than I can. Amongst the things of you which you feel most obligated to negotiate in a collective bargaining setting, which is we want this. And so typically when that happens, the league always says, okay, you want this, we want this.
Yeah.
And I don't think the players, as much as they would like it, want to give up anything to attain that. That's why I think they didn't push it in the CBA.
They wanted the 23rd off of December more importantly than the other.
And they wanted the Olympics and the other international stuff, and that was really important.
They got
so.
it.
Well, that part is good. So, Luds, tonight you had an interesting line. I wonder if it's changed, because you said to me, I don't know if this was in confidence, but we'll share anyway. You said, if we're doing 3 stars of the game, this was at 2-0. Jake Ottinger was 1. Wyatt Johnston was 2.
Well, Jake might have been 1 up until last.
Well, that's where I'm going with this. So you said Ottinger was clearly 1. He was trending toward a shutout.
Yeah.
And Detroit didn't have much going. Then you said Wyatt was 2. He had a goal. He had 4 or 5 scoring chances.
Yeah.
And he said, I don't know if I have anybody else I could give the number 3 star to. Has that changed since that point to now?
I still don't know who that. I mean, am I going to say it's Thomas Harley because he got the OT goal?
I mean, that's how they usually pick it.
I know how they
GWG.
I know how they pick it, but as I go, I don't pick stars like that. I mean, I very rarely agree with the stars, because I just look for guys that are doing the right thing and have an impact on the game and stuff like that. And even before that all happened, you said, well, it's obvious. It's Michael Bunting.
Well, I said Michael Bunting would be an obvious
I'm like,
pick.
well, yeah, he got a goal, but I don't know if he stands out as one of the players of the game. But again, I think my point was, besides, the obvious 2, Jake was going to get a shutout. Nobody said shutout upstairs. I just want to be clear about that. So, but then, when I said, I thought Wyatt played a good game again. I mean, he's just been good. And Robo was okay too. I mean, Robo wasn't bad, but there was nobody that really stood out to me as who's the next best, the third best player. So that's why I brought it up. Yeah,
it's an interesting conversation, because there is a different, like, the 3 stars are on the game sheet, but they're as much a marketing ploy as they are an actual statistic. And because there's no set criteria, right? There's some teams, I mean, I've been watching this league for a long, long time, and sometimes you'll see 3 stars and say, hey, that makes a lot of sense. And some will say, well, that's really slanted toward that's home team's building, or boy, they, sentimentally you'll do stuff. And sometimes you understand it, right? A player that we had it a couple of times over the last year or so where a player has, played after just losing their father or another loved one or something, and somebody will put them in as a sort of a nice sentimental homage, but that doesn't necessarily mean they were one of the best 3 players of the night. And then, of course, there are some buildings that say, hey, we need to have our fans go, yay, afterwards, even if we lose. So if it's close, you got to have one of
they got to kind of take care of the sponsor that's sponsoring the 3 stars too. So you got to have that up.
Yeah. 15 game winning or point streak. An empty net pass versus shot from Ritzkovian. Not blaming him for all of it. This could be a 15 game winning streak.
Are we going back to the Jamie Benn missed the net, but Ritzy should have shot it?
Yeah, Colorado.
Oh, okay.
I mean, that's the only blemish in this point streak, if you want to call it that.
If you're Ritzkovian and you're going down on a 2-on-1, and it's your captain over to your right, I don't know. I'm thinking a young guy gives it to the captain, even though it was kind of on his backhand and not in the right spot. Yeah, I just think that's Ritzkovian anyways.
Yeah,
I just think he would rather give it to somebody else and take care of it himself. That appears to be the kind of person and player that he is.
The funny thing is that if that were the case,
I thought you were going to say something about Chat's lighting up about.
No, not yet.
A couple non-saves or something like that.
Well, no, I'm just sitting here going, okay, we'll take 2 points away from Colorado. You'd won in regulation, so they'd be at 95. Give the Stars it. Would literally be tied with the Avs with 1 game in hand. That's wild. I mean,
yeah, but there's 14 more games.
Yeah, and that's my point. I asked you this. We were talking before the pregame show started. And said 5 points, 17 games to go. Both teams now. Dallas has 16 left, and you agreed. We both felt it's kind of unlikely that Dallas catches them. They can. They play them twice head to head. But do you feel any different after this win?
No, because it's just the Colorado. And again, Colorado, I had said earlier, they're playing at a 760 clip. They would have to, if they played at 650, I think 650 or even 600. I don't know what I did. I think I did 650. But, and to finish it out, they would end the season with 119 points. Dallas is playing at 708. And if they play that same rate all the way through and they win 70%, 70.8% of their games, they would finish at 117. So, but it's just that close. And again,
it's a lot of points.
I don't think Colorado's going to go from playing 750 or 760 or whatever they're at to 600, and Colorado, actually, when you look at the strength of schedule, Colorado is 29th. I believe that they're 29th. Dallas is now 27th today. So neither one of them have a super hard schedule
it went from second
here.
down.
Yeah, I mean, because you knock off two, better teams, and all of a sudden you got that.
Well,
it
they
changes
just played
every single day.
When we
every
talked about it
they
last,
play.
it was what they hadn't played.
They were like 12th or something.
Vegas, Edmonton,
Yeah.
Detroit, all playoff teams. Although, until that third period, were you sitting there thinking that Detroit's not a playoff team?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be. I don't
even still.
No, I mean, again, that for that goal that hit Jake, and then Jake goes to how many hundreds or thousands of times have Jake Ottinger put his glove down on a puck that's laying right in front of him, and it stays in his glove. Yeah, thousands of times.
Yeah,
and this one just hits the bottom of his glove and squeaks between his legs. I mean, that's a little fluke, and there's nobody around him, and. Again, like I said, he does it in his sleep, and all of a sudden it was just, I would rather have him do it now than in the playoff game.
So Detroit is now tied with Boston with 80 points. Bruins move into the first wild card because they've played one fewer games. And Columbus is 1 point back with a game in hand. Ottawa, 5 points back of Detroit with 2 games in hand, which seems like a bit of a climb, but I'm sitting there. If you're the Red Wings, you cannot feel comfortable with their
they got to get a couple guys back healthy.
Larkin
has
Andrew
to
Copp.
get back. Yeah.
Yep.
They've got a couple guys that are missing. And, and again, you watch that team tonight. I don't know. To me, I don't know how they're going to. Let's say they get in. I don't know if they're going to win a round. I mean, if Gibson's, again, it comes down to goaltending.
I think they need it. 9 years in a row without a playoff appearance, they need that. I think just like
Steve
Seattle,
Yzerman probably needs it.
I think so too.
So be nice for him.
But
again, we don't care.
You make a great point,
side.
though. Detroit doesn't look like a team that's going to win a Stanley Cup this year. But, Luds, if you're building a team and you've gone 9 years without making the playoffs, not only does the GM need it, doesn't the team need to start experiencing playoff hockey and losing, going, okay, well, now we see where we need to get better that level in playoff hockey? Because even losing a round can be a learning experience for a young team.
Oh, for sure. I mean, again, I think of one guy over there that I want to see in the playoffs, Patrick Kane.
Yeah.
Again, who knows if he's going to play next year, whatever his plan is. But I think.
Well, I think Dylan Larkin would like to see some playoff hockey other than playing at the Olympics.
Well, he's got a medal hanging around his neck.
Which when we were thrilled because he was great, but. As the captain of the Red Wings, I'm sure it would mean a lot to him to get them to the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. I just look at Kane, and he's going to surpass Mike, or he already did right on one of them. Yeah, he already did on one.
Not on the goals.
Not
points.
On the goals. Yeah. So, and he's I think he's 3 shy of 500. I think that's what.
And
Kane
we've
is.
got a few more for.
And he's
Mr.
tap
Bogano,
dancing into the Hall of Fame. So he's got his 3 Stanley Cups.
Oh yeah, That's not it. The legacy's fine. Yeah. All right, let's break it all down next here on the DLS Stars postgame show as Dallas beats the Red Wings with a little flair of the dramatic in overtime here on DLS. Sling TV is one of the most flexible ways to watch live TV. With the college basketball tournament coming up, Sling TV gives you access to the games and more control over how and where you tune in. Check this out. Sling has flexible 1, 3, and 7-day pass options, which means instant access to live TV for both the men's and women's tournaments. And you can get a day pass starting at just $4.99. And Sling is celebrating the chaos that everyone loves about the tournament. They are making it more fun to root for underdogs this year. If you purchase any pass from Sling and a 12 through 16 seed makes it to the round of 16 in either the men's or women's tournament, then your next day pass is just $1. Get signed up at sling.com/underdog. If an underdog wins, then you win too. Live TV, your way. Learn more at sling.com/underdog. No purchase required. To learn more and see the full rules, visit sling.com/underdog. Shoot your shot with Prize Picks and get $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup. That's $50 when you play your first $5 lineup with Prize Picks. Prize Picks makes every dunk, every board, every dime that much more exciting. In hockey, we like to say every pass, every shot, every check, every goal. Either way. So don't miss your chance to get started on America's #1 sports picks app. Prize Picks is simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you could cash in. You can pick from all your favorite sports too, including, but not limited to, basketball, baseball, hockey, UFC, soccer, college basketball, tennis, golf, esports, and more. So what do? Well, really easy. Download the PrizePicks app. Do that today. Use the code DLLS, and you will get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code DLLS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. All right, let's break it all down. Ladies and gentlemen, our favorite segment, it's What the Puck. Now, Luds, before you get started on this, I was a little concerned, in a good way, when it was 2-0 going into the third period, we were going to have a pretty short segment. Because, again, only 2 Stars goals, none at that point for the Red Wings. Wonder if there wasn't a whole lot of stuff to break down. Well, I didn't say it out loud, but things changed in the third.
I'm not really concerned whenever we only have, and we haven't had a lot of 1 or 2 goal games because you can fill very fine. So
Fair enough, yes.
Not worried.
We can always talk or whatever. Okay, so let's get to the first one because this is what isn't uncommon, but we're used to the power play. This is Wyatt Johnston regular strength. 5-on-5, giving Dallas the lead, tying Jason Robertson for the team lead again as those two kind of have a tug of war of who's going to score more goals. 36 at 8:57 of the first period.
Yeah, on the front of this, the reason I put something on here on the front of this thing on What the Puck is because, and there's going to be one more thing we'll show later, this is where the complete game is coming into play for the Dallas Stars. And, and I'm talking about the best players because how long ago have we talked about particularly Wyatt coming back? That's on auto flyby. Hey, Ryan, it just keeps on clicking all the way up there.
You want to go back?
Well, he went for a walk. And then all of a sudden can we go back to the beginning?
You want to start over again?
Right there. There we go. Hold your finger on that button. That's what she said. So what I wanted to show by this is the 200-foot game that we talk about all the time. How many times this year, as I was saying, as this thing was flying through, how many times do we see not just Wyatt, but other forwards coming through the neutral zone and they stop their feet and they kind of coast into the defensive zone? The only reason I wanted to show this is you see Wyatt here. Now, he was down by the faceoff dot when he actually took off, tracking back to his own end. The next clip that you're going to see is going to be Wyatt. Well, here he is. Okay, so he's still coming across the blue line. Now he's catching up. Now look at where he's standing. This is offense from defense. Wyatt
right
comes
in front of his
all
own net.
the way back to his own goaltender, and then the next thing you know, he's down at the other end of the rink. And then I want to just show you, this is the goal. So Wyatt, and he's got Raymond draped all over him. And so, and Sider, you're going to see on the top of the
Sider
screen.
all over Bork.
They kind of go a little bit. Sorry, here's Bork coming in here. Here comes Wyatt in here. Oh, this is the head turn. Now, all of a sudden, Maverick knows exactly where Wyatt is. Goes into the corner, down on the wall. He spots him here. And then what he does is he just takes one of these little bumps. It's just a little area pass, and Wyatt can come in and pick him off. Now, Sider ends up staying with Bork, and then he turns his head, and a little man-on-man going on here. And then what Wyatt does is he recognizes where Raymond is, and he is on that back shoulder. And then he just tight turns, comes out, and then ultimately just comes in and stuffs it. And then there's 2 other defensemen that's got their sticks into play here, and I'm not even sure if it actually came off of Wyatt's stick or ricocheted off of Sider's when he came back into it, and I think that's Edvinsson there. But anyway, there's a couple sticks in here, and then ultimately, I love the play, and it's just a cram play, and get it to the net, and usually good things happen. It's one of those few tonight that snuck through Gibson.
If you're from a Detroit perspective, aside from the man-on-man stuff that always makes me chuckle a little bit.
Well, I mean, there's an example. I mean, like for that one there, and you were talking about Sider before. I think he's a good defenseman, by the way. But to take your head and just turn it away from your net, and now what you're doing is you're basically saying, I always call it get out of jail free card. I got my guy. I don't know what the hell happened. I got my guy.
Yeah.
But a forward, you're now, and you know what the thing is from defensive coach, and obviously, is never trust a forward. I mean, that was just our rule. You never trust a forward, but in that system, that's what you do. And so they're not used to containing and pushing people the right way. Generally, a defenseman will go back, as he did on Maverick there, and you want to hurt him back up into traffic. All your help is up, and you don't want them to try to get to the back of the net. And that's why it bothers me. But when you turn your head and you're back to the puck carrier, especially when it's a guy like Wyatt or Robo or Rand, whoever it is, they need help.
If you look at Gibson there, if you're a Red Wings coach, player, fan, are you disappointed that one went in because it's near post seal kind of stuff?
I'm not going to say anything right now because we're going to talk about the one that went in on Jake, so I'm not going to say anything about that.
Fair enough.
That's why I think There may have been a hole when he just drops down, puts his blocker down. Because a lot of times you put that blocker down, it catches, and so it creates a little bit of gap. I don't know, but then I see both defensemen sticking their sticks blades in there too.
You
and
wonder
so
if it pokes him in.
I don't know what happened.
So Wyatt gave him a 1-0 lead. Stars had a couple power plays in that period, and they weren't able to cash in on it. They had a couple of good looks early in the game, 4-on-4. Sam and I were talking about that because only 3:34 into the game, David Perron gets called for slashing, then basically tries to rip the helmet off of Heiskanen, and we're sitting there going, why did Miro get a penalty on that play? And that to me felt like the referees just trying to not to give somebody a power play at that moment. They just tried to even it up. Miro really didn't do a whole lot. Later in the game, Nathan Bastian gets a penalty for interference, which felt like, well, the other team had a power play, so we need to give them one, even though there was almost nothing that you could even look at. But anyway, beside the point, Wyatt had a really good look in the slot on a 3-on-2. Gibson made a good save. And then Patrick Kane, out of absolutely nothing, gets a point-blank chance, and Jake makes a great save at the end of the period. The Red Wings had 4 shots on goal in the first period. That was their high danger.
Yeah, but didn't they all come in about the last 4 or 5 minutes?
It did. They did not have a shot on goal for the first almost 17 minutes of the first period. I think it was 3:20 on the clock. Then they go to the second period, Leds, and we were talking about power play. Mo Seider gets called for hooking, and Michael Bunting gets his first goal as a Dallas Star. Big fist pump, because you know how much that feels good for a player to come in, especially at the deadline where people are saying, we're expecting things from you, and then to contribute on the score sheet.
It feels good for him, but it feels good for the guys here too.
Yeah.
That now he's kind of part of the group. We're happy that you got that one out of the way, and here we go. But you know, the Stars power play, they just kind of bludgeon it right now. Again, you need the other couple guys back here, but it all again starts with the one face-off. And then the other thing that happens is when you win a draw or it sits behind you, it's such a good lesson for kids and things like that. The 2 wingers, you have to come in and help. And that's exactly what happens here. Both of his wingers come in, ultimately win that face-off. It goes back to the point, and then it all kind of starts from there. But here's what I like about what Robo does. Robo picks this puck up down deep in the corner, and then what he does is he turns and he heads back up towards his own defenseman. He heads to the blue line. And by doing that, you can see where Detroit is. They've got all 4 of their guys down low, dots and down. But by Robo coming up, he stretches that strong side winger. And ultimately, once Robo gets up here, he pulls that winger out of position. Now, all of a sudden, what Robo does is he creates a lane. And now that lane is open. Ristkovian's over here. And then there's that passing lane. It creates that hole between that defenseman and that forward. They got to take the shot away, and the pass comes across. Ritz takes the shot off the shin pad of Shine. Yep. Off the shin pad of Shine, off the shin of Shine.
That sounds like a tongue twister.
And then right to Bunting. And Bunting releases it right away. And I mean, it was a great shot, and it ultimately went 5-hole, but gets it, and there's the reaction. And so, nice little goal for Bunting.
And that made it 2-0. It was early in the period. Stars could have had more. I didn't think they created a ton. Bunting had a wide open chance that he hit the left post from the below the dot on the right circle, and it was just under the elbow. Great look. Had Gibson beat, although Gibson will say, hey, it hit the post, it wasn't beat. But right at the end of the period, after, again, a really sleepy second from Detroit, JT Compher had a redirection in the low slot that went off the base of the post and behind Jake.
That one? That's on Nils. Nils was about.
I knew you were going to bring this up. We were talking about it in the press box.
He was
no stick on stick.
Stick on stick. He was too faded. I wanted to show it, and I thought, no, we're not going to just show it. But he was 2 feet away from him. He was just standing there. I don't know what he was waiting for, what he was watching, and I just got a feeling now. Again, go back to, sometimes Jake will give you a look if you're in this lane and his eyesight and stuff like that. I'm starting to think that and Miro was doing it on the other side, or Thomas. Oh no, it was Harley was doing it on the other side. But I think they're just trying to stay out of the vision of Jake, which is understandable. But when there's now all of a sudden you're just allowing the good position from the opponent, and all they have to do is on a rebound, they just have to turn their back, and you're boxed out, and they get that first whack. But Nils, I don't know.
Yeah, we were laughing about that in the press box and saying, hey, he didn't get anywhere close to lifting.
No, he wasn't even in the same area code.
So you go to the third period now. Stars up 2-0, looking very comfortable. Didn't really give up a whole lot. Otter made a great save on an early power play. I think that was the problem, Leds. Dallas took a couple of penalties early in the third period. First, Lindell for interference, and then after Robertson and Falk were called for matching minors, then Tyler Myers got called for a cross check. That was the one that
that was legit.
That Razor questioned.
Yeah, he didn't know if he was at full extension
or whatever. Yeah. I felt like even though they didn't score on either of those power plays, it took some of the
steam out of
them. Yeah, and gave a little
some of the momentum and
then
you gave hope to the opponent. Yeah. Well,
the first goal for Detroit was not the prettiest one you'll ever see.
No, and at the end of it, when I look at it, and again, I think it was Wyatt that was tracking back, but I thought that Miro should have held his ice a little bit longer on this because it was kind of 3-on-2-ish, and Wyatt wasn't quite back yet. And once Miro moves off to his left too much, it opens things up. And then anyway, here is this it? This is it. Do you want to talk it through? Because I don't feel like.
Can you get it through without giggling?
Well, no, but I mean, there's no harm here because you can see. Well, I might even. What's the next
puck there?
Right there. I know, but what's the next one? Can we click the button? Or are we on autopilot? There it is. See, I got the super mag on.
Zoom in.
So there it. I mean, it literally hits him in the logo.
Yeah,
I just wanted to show that.
It's good position for Monty.
No, it was perfect. Jake did everything right, except the ending. But again, it's a puck that bounces, and then I like I've said, he's done this thousands and thousands of times, and it was just the bottom of his glove that catching glove that catches the puck.
Which I believe they call the cheater.
And I wonder if when the puck hit, sometimes they take a little divot and they skip backwards. You don't even know it, and maybe that's what happened. And it's just an unlucky thing, and then it just squirts between the legs, the 5-hole, and into the back of the net. And all of a sudden, Detroit's got a little life.
Simon Edvinsson gets credit for his 9th goal. I'm still wondering how they gave 2 assists on that one when the goalie knocks it in his own net. But fine, whatever. Won't fight about it. 10 minutes later, Lucas Raymond ties it. Dallas had a couple of chances, a really good one. Sam Steele had one from the left dot, open shot, and then Robo stepped into the left circle and a great save by Gibson. But then Raymond just crashes the net and kind of overpowers people to bat one in out of midair.
It was another one. I wasn't really sure of what happened. Again, it hits a stick and hits something in front of the net, and then there we go, 2-2. I don't think we got that one.
No, that's okay. Go to overtime, lads. Actually, before that, toward the end, Patrick Kane had a point-blank chance. Edvinsson had a wraparound at the right post. Otter was there, but then the puck kicked to Kane right at the left side of the crease, and he could have won literally could have won the hockey game. It was a really good save by Otter. And I know that goal, the cuff, we're kind of feeling like, oh boy, here we go again. But he doesn't let that get to him.
Right. He made a couple important saves after those couple goals went in.
Well, Thomas Harley would score the winner, and I just want to give first of all, it's a great shot, right? I mean, just sizzled one from the circle, short side high over Gibson. And I also want to give credit to Wyatt Johnston because his awareness in the defensive zone on a loose puck and what he does with it, I was really impressed with.
Well, and part of that is because Thomas Harley, who has no fear in 3-on-3, he bolts out of the zone. The puck is still below the hash mark, and Harley's gone. But that brings the defenseman back, or their third player. It brings them. Was that Edvinsson? Wasn't a big defenseman out there again?
I believe it was Edvinsson all the way back. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, he has to back out of the zone because Harley's taken off. And as you said, all Wyatt does is he takes the puck and he just throws one of those area passes that's going to get somewhere near his own blue line. And that's where Thomas was waiting. And Edvinsson by then, because Harley had kind of taken off and then he slows down a little bit. And so Edvinsson was almost to the center line. And that's why
there was not a great gap there.
It gave Thomas time to turn around, pick up the puck. He actually had to turn backwards, pick up the puck, and then take off. And then he put on the afterburners, and he just beat him on the outside. And again, we know he's got a great shot. And that one, Gibson, I think that went short side on Gibson.
He did.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was two up that way.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but a great shot for Thomas. He's got a knack of, taking care of things in OT.
It was his first goal, and it was a little while. I believe, I want to say 9 games. It's on that sheet of paper, not on this one.
How many of these 3-on-3 goals has Thomas got, though?
I have an answer for you. Would you like to know?
Of these now?
No. I'm not going to. I don't want to give it away because Sam.
Was it a trivia question?
Well, Sam just sent us a text of his tweet, so he looked it up first. So let's talk to Sam next and let him tell you the answer to your question.
I'm going to say 5.
Stars win here on DLLS. You know that moment? You know the one where you had your sunglasses on your head and then you slip and you fall on the stairs and your sunglasses go flying and shatter? Or maybe they fall out of your pocket as you're getting out of your car, and the lenses get scratched on the concrete driveway. Or maybe you left them at the gas station 3 states away on a road trip and you just realize it and you're not turning around now. Well, that's when you find Shady Rays, because it will change the game. Shady Rays offers seriously good-looking sunglasses that are both durable and polarized, and the best part is they are not stupidly expensive. So you can actually wear them, and if you lose or break them, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No questions asked. That means you can actually enjoy your life with your sunglasses without worried about whether you should be wearing them or not. Even if you're on the boat and they go flying in the water, try to go get them. But if you can't, you're okay. Go to shadyrays.com. Use the code SRDLLS for 40% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. Property taxes. Texas has some of the highest property taxes in the country. Wouldn't you like to save some money? You should use Ownwell, and maybe you can just do that. So for all those property owners out there, especially ones that are living in North Texas, you can use Ownwell very easily and use some of their cutting-edge technology and local experts to save you both time and money. Signing up is easy. It takes about 3 minutes, and there's no long paperwork, or you don't have to go in person and protest. Ownwell will do it all for you. And they have a very high success rate. In fact, it's significantly higher rate of savings for their clients than more of the traditional agents. What they do, up to 80% of the Ownwell customers get their assessed values reduced and save on your property taxes. An average savings over $770. Save time and money on your property taxes with Ownwell. Only pay if you save. So go to ownwell.com/Texas to learn more. That's OWNWELL.com/Texas. All right. Let's welcome on here for our back half of the show, at least for this segment, our intrepid beat reporter and trivia master extraordinaire, Sam Nestler over at American Airlines Center. All right, Sam. So Lud started to ask the question, and since I saw that you had tweeted it out, I didn't want to spoil the fun. So the question is, Lud's asked, how many 3-on-3 goals does Thomas Harley have? And you have the answer to that, because guess what? You said, I think, in your tweet. I looked it up. You're right.
It is true. Luds, what was your guess?
5.
He has 7.
Which,
and that is a franchise record. Overtook John Klingberg, who had 6. Klingberg technically has 8 in his career, but he scored 1 with San Jose and 1 with Minnesota, maybe. I can't remember who
also
he scored
had a pretty good
the other one with.
Overtime goal in the playoffs against Nashville.
Yeah, decent one.
Ago.
So Harley broke the franchise record with 7. He's also already tied for the most in a single season with Sagan and Klingberg when he had 3 a couple seasons ago. I'm curious if you guys know who was number 1. Oh, and you might have already looked it up. So
I haven't. So you're talking about most overtime goals
overall,
in one season?
Most overtime goals by a defenseman. No, by a defenseman in their career.
Oh, but like NHL.
All teams. Yep.
Oh, I haven't looked that up.
See, I'm worried because
it has to be recent.
No, Sam's got this shitty little smirk on his face, and I'm worried it's going to be EK65 or something like this.
No. He is.
That's a good guess though, because he's sort
5th.
He's 5th.
Yeah.
What about Cale Makar?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't know if he shoots enough.
What year would this thing start?
When overtime came in. So
I'll tell you this: this guy's played over 1,500 games in the NHL,
and he's a defenseman. Obviously,
yes.
Is what we're talking about.
He doesn't play. He doesn't play a lot of defense.
Does he play anymore?
Is it Brent Burns?
Yes, it is.
Oh. I was going to guess 16, it before you put your hands over your chin like a
16 giant career overtime goals.
Yeah, he shoots the puck. Yeah.
Well, he can skate, and he can skate, and once he gets the edge on you, you ain't catch. He holds you out there.
Yeah,
Big body. Yeah, he still can.
That's good trivia though, Sam. That's like thought line worthy. I love it.
Appreciate it.
All right, so let's talk about Thomas Harley, because he hadn't scored in his last 9 games, and then he gets that one. Was he his dry humor self? Did anyone ask him if he's going to throw a DiGiorno in tonight or anything else post game?
No, I didn't ask him about the pizza. I'm sure he'll go supreme tonight, though. He likes to do the supreme after a win. Was 100% his normal self. He just gives you that smile every time that tells you he's going to give you some sort of funny answer. And his he after all of his general, hockey's fun, overtime's fun, scoring's fun. I like to skate. He did. I asked him what gave him the confidence to take on because that's a one-on-one with the defenseman, and he didn't really have a big step on the guy. Normally in that situation, a lot of times you see the guys curl back or wait for help, and he just said, I thought I had a step, figured shoot the puck, see what happens. And I said, well, you know what? It's simple enough, I guess. But he started talking about how he was like, yeah, it's been a long stretch. It's been a lot of games, and there's some fatigue. So hopefully goalie sees this and he keeps giving us these optionals because optionals are great.
Hey,
so he's
speaking
pitching the team.
Speaking of DiGiorno's, I had pizza tonight. I
Oh?
brought pizza in, yeah.
What'd you get?
Leftover. I had leftover from Grimaldi's. I got my pizza from Grimaldi's. It was excellent.
Not the Lunchable.
Grimaldi's
Nice
in
little
there.
pitch. Yeah. Available for a partnership.
It was really good. It was awesome.
Oh, that's all you wanted to say. You're just
That was
okay.
it.
I
Yeah,
thought
I
you
just
were trying to
figured-
go somewhere.
We have now
That's
said
where I met Ed
Grimaldi's
Werder
and
last
DiGiorno. So
Sam, what
Let's
did
get a sponsorship.
we had a bit of a conversation at the end of our What the Puck segment about Jake Ottinger and the goal and all that. What's your take on that play and where the Stars should feel after that? Because you were talking about pregame how good Jake's been of late and keeps racking up wins, and he did again tonight. But that was a pretty goofy goal.
Yeah, that one hurts my heart as a former goalie. That happens to every goalie, man. You either you miss a puck that's sent down and you whiff. My dad always told me a story how when he played goalie, he played one game goalie in his whole life. He was in like 6th grade and a puck got shot down. And he thought he was all cool, tried to go full like Marty Turco, one-handed and just shoot it out and went through his legs and went in the net. That every goalie has that story, right? It's just something that happens. I haven't seen Jake have one of those really, to be honest with you. So his was tonight. And I loved, if you go back and watch that, sure it was on the broadcast, Duchesne goes right over to him. Lindell or Miro goes right over to him. They put their arm around him, give him a tap like, hey, we got you. That was a fluky goal because it was a weird one. It's not like he just totally, muffs it. It was kind of spinning back on him, but he definitely whiffs on it. He tries to cover it, hits the little cheater on the bottom of his glove and goes 5-hole. And it shifted the game, right? It gave them life. So it wasn't just that it was one weird goal in the middle of a game and they still win 3-1 or 4-1. It really tilted the ice and gave Detroit some life. And then the other one was a weird one too, right? The bouncing puck kind of goes right back to Raymond in the slot. So I just loved the way they supported him. And Goldson said afterwards, he was asked, was it important to get that goal back and get the, for Jake, because he was so good. He was great in this game. I know he wasn't tested a lot, but he was all over the play. He was reading it super well. His rebound control was great. He deserved better than that kind of fluky play. And Goldson just said, look, we don't worry about Jake. We're like, he's mentally strong. We don't worry about him being down on himself or, looking too much on it. And look what happened. He was good after that, made a couple big saves late. And I think, like I said in the pregame show, as you just mentioned, Owen, he finds a way to win games. And Glenn Goldson said again tonight, he had 2 fluky goals go in on him, and he still stopped it at 2. And that's what he does. And he may not be the most pretty goalie every night, may not get perfect clean sheets, but he stops it when it gets to 2 and it gets wins. If you don't allow the team to score 3 goals, you're going to win the game a lot of the time. And he still found a way to do it. But I just love, I'm a goalie, so I love seeing the support from teams when they do that. And I also love that Goldson said we didn't think twice about it. We had no worry. I saw Jake go right over at the next media timeout to Casey. They both kind of just nodded to each other, and Casey said, let's go, lights out for the rest of the game. And he went out and, shut it down for the rest of the game and got them the win.
I saw that one of the players that was interviewed after the game was Michael Bunting. He looked extremely happy when he scored his power play goal. Was he still beaming a bit in the postgame?
He was, yeah. He talked about how good that feels. A new player, that's got to be good to just feel like you're getting kind of assimilated a little bit. Goldson talked about something that was really interesting this morning. Not just a new team and new faces and new system, but these guys are breaking in new gear. They're playing a new game in a new city and new family. Their family's moving or not moving. And I know I think he had his first kid somewhat recently during the season, I believe, or right before the season. There's a lot of stuff going into it. And he was just all smiles at the fact that he, got the goal, had a good game. We're talking about if he's had his impact yet, kind of. This was his best game of the night. I saw him, he popped a little bit more, made a couple good plays. His line comes out and draws the penalty, and then his line, connects Ritzkovian into Bunting for the goal. The only thing that we couldn't figure out, and we'll have to follow up on Monday, is I didn't see anyone go over and get the puck for him for his first goal as a Dallas Star. and he didn't get the puck. When I asked him afterwards, he said he has no idea whether he has the puck or not. He hasn't gotten it yet. So very interested to see, because I think that's a pretty big tradition. You get your first NHL goal, obviously, but your first goal on a new team, I think, is one that you get the puck for. So curious Monday morning whether he has that puck or not.
Just call Zimmy and they'll grab a puck out of the bucket and
Just
give him
scuff
one.
it up a little bit. Say, hey, this was the
just
one.
draw on there.
You know what's funny, Sam, is that I was talking to Matt Duchene not today. Well, actually, I did talk to him today. I was talking to him about his little backhand toe drag and how ridiculously
He did it a
filthy
couple
that
times
was.
today too.
Yeah.
He was dancing today.
I asked him when he figured out that he could do that confidently, because that's not easy to do. You go for that backhand toe drag and it just slides, like you just whiff on the puck a lot. It's a really difficult skill. And he goes, I don't know, sometime when I was a kid. And I'm like, of course, because he's that ridiculous.
When I was 4.
But he was on the ticket the other day for, I think, his weekly spot, and he made a sort of offhanded comment about we should have beat the Avalanche. Like, he was really happy about the way they played that game because, oh man, we should have won that. We'd be on at the time, I think it was 13 or 14 game winning streak. And he's right. If it wasn't for that, it could be 15. Are they still annoyed about that?
Oh, they are. That not only annoyed, but he and other people brought it up as the first answer when asked, first time since that guy sitting to your right won 15 in a row. And a few months after that, they won the only Stanley Cup in this history. How does it feel, or what does it mean to this organization? Yeah, we wish we didn't blow that late lead against Colorado. We should have had 15 in a row. Like, it's unbelievable how much these players are competitive. And obviously that one's different, right? It's not like, they didn't lose to Anaheim and blow a lead. That was a big swing in the points in the standings as well. So I understand it, but I love the fire that these guys have. They are never happy, never settled. They're right there looking right now at the next game, trying to dominate this homestand, not sweep it because of the Colorado loss, but really come out of it with 5-0-1 record going into their first trip here a little bit. It just cracks me up to see, because every hockey player is competitive, right? But this team feels different, and I've said that so many times over the last couple of weeks. But in that room, you just feel it. They don't feel like they're just happy to sit here and say we broke this record or our power play's hot. They are going after that goal, and they're doing whatever it takes to get there. And I think that drive is going to rear its head here as we get down the stretch.
All right, we have to go to break here, but I want to ask you, just because I like to poke the bear, which penalty did you like less? The one on Miro Heiskanen in the first period, or the one on Nathan Bastian?
You know what? Robo's was pretty bad too. Robo just trying to get out of a hold, just kind of throwing himself at him. But Bastian was hilarious. Usually it's a bad call when the player is not even arguing. They're just kind of like, wait, me? Did I do something? Bastian's skating off like he has no clue what's going on. There were some calls tonight just trying to even things up, I think. And luckily it didn't end up affecting the game.
Sounds like Essa. Every time Essa doesn't get a lot of penalties.
No.
But every time he's there, he's like, what? I didn't do anything wrong. Like, he's in the box. Like, I don't get it.
Like,
I did
I'm just
nothing
playing
wrong.
hockey.
Yeah,
What?
I did nothing. And he doesn't take very many penalties. I mean,
He took one tonight.
He did.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He gets to the box and he's like, what?
I should be killing this. Not
Yeah.
exactly. Well, Sam, I hope you enjoy your Sunday. Thank you very much for all your time, and we'll
Sunday fun day.
We'll see you Monday.
All right, boys.
All right, there you go. Sam Nestler over at American Airlines Center. We'll take your super chats next here on the DLS Stars postgame show.
Well, speaking of Jake Ottinger and another save or another win, look at that. You knew right where I was going, right?
You knew.
There is the Otter shirt. Hey, folks, all that matters is the W, and Jake is finding a way to do that.
28th win, Luds. That's third most in the league.
Yep, that's all you got to do. And then the good news is we need to have the finish the hoodie, because I think the band is going to get back together here relatively soon. We're going to get one member back within a couple weeks.
Yeah,
right?
by the time you've got
weeks?
Yeah, I would say by maybe the end of March we'll see. They're hoping they'll see Mikko. He's been skating on his own, and then Rope maybe.
Are they still teetering on start of the playoffs
for Rope? Yeah, maybe a game or two.
Yeah, I don't like it when they teeter.
I know. Hintz is a little quieter there.
Yeah.
Then I think Mikko, they're feeling a little bit more confident. And then Fox is in that same boat at some point. But the way, we're supposed to be talking about merchandise. We're ready to go on a top.
They are merchandise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Finish Mafia.
Do we have a Fox's shirt?
No.
No?
No.
Don't we do fourth line centers on
We
this
could
team?
do What Does the Fox Say?
We don't even have a Ritzy.
Or, you know what we should do?
Fox.
No, you know what we should do? Because one of the early goals he
We
scored.
should get the read in.
Well, yeah, but we're fine. Let's talk about being a diehard.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
When Radek Fox has scored a goal early in his Dallas Stars career, he said something about crashing
Stop
the net.
the timer.
And he just said, what do? You go to the net and you lick the gravy. And so that became sort of the running joke. So we should have like gravy liquor. Anyway. But you should sign up to be a diehard because not only do you get access to all the things that we like to promote.
You can put it throw the suggestion boxes.
That's right. You can get access to the Discord channel, and you could then send us a suggestion about what you'd like to see as a Radek Fox shirt or whatever else it is. Plus, you get all the access to all the writing that we do for all the Dallas Stars, Cowboys, Mavs, Rangers, and free T-shirt for the first year of your annual subscription, and much, much more, and a discount on merchandise, which Luds is still trying to figure out how to do. All right.
I do know how. You sent me.
I know
what we're talking about.
Well, sort of, but we'll see if you can figure it out. I may have to guide you through it again, but we'll figure that out. All right. Let's talk about some super chats, and then we'll see where we're at for remaining time, because lots of topics, as Lud says, we can definitely fill the time, but let's hit your super chats. And thank you to I Love Misty for that big Thomas Harley one at the start of our post-game show. When it's that generous, we stop down the show for that one. But instead, we're going to go to this one, our first one of Bing Bong of the night. Finger Blaster 911. Ryan, stretch that a little bit if you would, please. That is still tiny there. Well, that went from tiny to gigantic. That's fine. This one is a Lundqvist and a Ludwig. Luds is hot. You want to argue that, or are you happy to take that compliment?
Because of the calling Wyatt? I just pick Wyatt every night.
Maybe that's why. I hope that's why, or maybe that just...
You go, Finger
Have
Blaster.
Have we met Finger Blaster yet? Has he been here?
I don't think so.
Or she? He? I don't know.
I think it's he, and I don't think so, but I can't remember now.
You go, Finger
Spittin'
Blaster.
Chicklets with Oscar Beck and Year After the Cup. Stars haven't allowed a shot on goal within the first 10 minutes of the game for the last 3 games. Loving that and the noticeable increase in grit recently. Ritzy equals Little Ball of Hate 2.0. Go Stars.
Go Stars.
Do you like that comparison, Ritzkovian to Verbeek?
He's not going to. I don't think Ritzy's going to get over 500 goals in his career. And I've been lobbying for Beaker to be in the Hall of Fame. I mean, he's got over 3,000 penalty minutes. He's got a Stanley Cup. He's got over 550 some goals. I don't understand why he's never in consideration. So, but I've been beating that.
By the way, Finger Blaster said in the chat, I live in Santa Barbara, so you probably haven't met Finger Blaster in the studio.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You go, Finger Blaster.
Finn Vogel's 2035 with a, look at that.
What are we looking at?
Well, it's
the euros again?
No, British pounds.
Oh.
That little symbol, you know your currencies. Come on.
Yeah, but now that's going to be about $7.08.
No, it's a Lundqvist and a Harley in British pounds. Great show, guys, but tell Luds to simmer down about staying up late, watching from London, and how lucky am I to see 55 do what he does best at 3 a.m.
Hey, I don't complain. Oh, I complain about being in here, but I'm up late.
No. You were complaining about the third period being longer than 27 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's not even doable, but I was just trying to will the game to be over at 2-0 and not stretch it out at all.
It didn't work out, did it? All right, let's go
I
to the
should have
next.
just said,
By the way, we
we
love hearing from our UK supporters, so thank you for that.
You said supporters. We got more than one?
Yeah.
Do we?
Oh, of course. We've had several. And remember, we have the Swedish krona over, so multiple European fans. I love it. Master Pintsman, speaking of Europe and pints, with a Oscar Beck and a Wyatt Johnston. I usually watch the games and this show with my wife, but she's deployed right now, and this doesn't feel right. Y'all mind giving my wife, Selena, a shout-out so she sees this later?
Well,
how about that? That's really cool. Selena, stay safe.
Deployed, so I would say thank you for your service.
I'm
not
sure
sure
that.
what department we're in. But.
And we not only hope you stay safe, we really appreciate that both of you watch the DLS Stars podcast. That's really cool. Yeah. All right. Let's go to Kiefner Lewis with a Haskin and 99 Cup here. Couple soft ones let in. Otherwise, fun game to be at.
That's all that matters. And win.
You won. Did you have fun?
You got something to complain about. And you won, and you had a couple beers.
I Love Misty 1985 with a Ludwig and a EK65. Happy early birthday, Luds. Can we sing happy birthday song?
Do we have to go with EK65?
Well, I mean, it's also your... Oh, look at that. We got balloons.
Oh, look at that.
That was clever, Ryan.
Good job, Sean.
I mean, I think there's another reason for EK65 on that, but...
Is there?
Well, I mean, what is...
Yeah, I suppose.
tomorrow?
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right,
Yeah.
well... we missed one. I went past it. Yeah, well, Luds, there's a joke here because that's Clarotis or Claritus. We missed it. Go figure. Here's Haskin in 99 Cup year. What a wonderful weekend, and Colorado is definitely within reach. Go Stars. Saw him again tonight after, I think it was between first and second period.
Or no?
That's a person.
And he came up, and he's got another Craig Lud, or no. Oh, what was the guy's name? Somebody that played, I'll have to look it up. He was showing me a 93-94 Dallas Stars jersey, again, at this memorabilia store in Indianapolis. Let's look at Luds and see if I can reverse engineer this. So the 93-94 team, who was it? Mike Craig jersey.
Oh, Krieger.
I
took him to Wisconsin with me,
He
too.
wore number 20 for the Dallas Stars the first year with the team in Texas, Luds.
I just ran into Krieger about 2 weeks ago at an airport, and he's working with the, I believe it's Calgary.
Not to take a dig at your former teammate, but looking at that season, he had, where did I lose it? He had 13 goals, 37 points, 139 penalty minutes, but he had the team worst minus 14, plus minus.
Yeah, he's a bit of a wingnut.
There you go. All right, where are we now, Ryan? I'm lost. Freelancer? Yeah. Freelancer with a Lundqvist and a Harley. Not getting 3 Ben goals on Pi Day was so disappointing, 314. So they were hoping mathematically that Jamie Benn would get a hat trick, 3 for 14 on 314.
I'm not going to say it'll never happen again, but those days are,
He's had two
and
twice.
If he's going to do it, he's getting some power play time. So,
Yep.
I
Maybe
think
an empty netter.
when everybody gets...
Made me laugh a little bit. That was unnecessary. All right, Hockey Texas 82-25 with a Lundqvist in year after the Cup. If Jake is truly a great goalie, stack him up against Ed Belfour. Does he really have that clutch gene to take us all the way, in your opinion?
Hey, you know what? Eddie didn't win a Stanley Cup until he was in his 30s, right? So, it doesn't
Jake
happen.
isn't in his 30s yet, so let's hope he beats that trend.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
So, yeah.
All right. Go Stars 1997 with a DeSmith in 99 Cup year. Otter is still goated. That first goal was a fluke. Yes. Yeah. And like you said before, how many times?
As long as that doesn't happen again.
Countless times has he gone to put the glove down, knows exactly where it is, and he looked as surprised as anybody. He had no idea, probably sitting there going, how did that one go in?
I just think it wasn't still. It hadn't stopped or something like that. And it may have just moved back, an inch or two, and ultimately it doesn't, land in the pocket.
So they've won 15 in a row. They have power play goals in 12 in a row. They are continuing to climb up that ladder, as we keep talking about, in the standings, as they made up 2 points on Colorado, so 3 points with a game in hand for the Avs. They are now 6 points clear of Minnesota with a game in hand. That, I said earlier, that's
important.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And then, Luds, they're 20 points ahead of Utah in fourth. And Utah has played the same
Well,
number of games.
everybody's back there.
Yeah.
I mean.
But just think about that. 20 points ahead of fourth in the division. I mean,
and that
pretty
team,
soon we're talking about clinching a playoff
and
spot.
unfortunately, that team, if it is that team, they've got an easier path to the conference final.
Well, that leads me back to the point I wanted to bring up in our first segment, which is if Dallas does catch Colorado, they would play the second wild card team. Well, right now that would be the San Jose Sharks. I'm not saying that's an easy out. Would you rather see the Sharks than the Wild in the first round?
Yeah, there's a part of me that says yes, and then you're always like, don't.
I mean, Celebrini is something, isn't he?
Yeah, but I just think that you have
John
the right,
Klingberg again.
Well, you have the right pieces to take care of Celebrini. He's still going to get, he's going to get his points, but I think if you only have to worry about one or two versus kind of like playing against yourself for a group like Colorado, and a Kaprizov and
the best thing, Luds, about if the Dallas could catch Colorado, and we're still saying that they could, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen, would be to let the Avalanche and the Wild just wail on each other for a first round series before presumably you have to get by whatever opponent. Right now it's San Jose, but it very easily could be LA. I don't know about the Kraken, who've just lost 4 in a row, but I mean, I think that would be ideal for 2 reasons. One, Colorado, Minnesota plays each other and just takes a big chunk out of each other.
And you hope it goes 7.
Hope it goes 7. And then you still have home ice advantage for whoever survives that, assuming you get past whether it's San Jose or, LA or possibly even Utah, although Utah's got 4 points up. I think they're good enough to avoid being in that second wild card.
I do too.
And they have, like you said, incentive to avoid Colorado or Dallas by facing Anaheim or Vegas or Edmonton. I think that's probably what you'd want.
Yep.
All right, we got another super chat. Pop that one up. Finger Blaster 911 with a Lundqvist and a Ludwig. Higher personal value, Olympic gold or Stanley Cup?
Well, I don't have a gold medal, so Stanley Cup.
You go, Finger Blaster.
You know what? That's a better question for the guys that have won both.
Yeah.
I think they're going to say that they're separate. One only comes around once every 4 years, and you probably only get a chance.
It's a lot more rare to win a gold medal.
Yeah, I would think so, but I don't think you don't have to pay the price as much.
I mean, gold. What is it? It's a 2-week tournament versus a 3-month slog.
Yeah,
and they're not really comparable, right? Because both are huge. Both are something you celebrate for the rest of your life as an accomplished elite athlete. But you go about them very differently, and you should celebrate either one, right?
I mean, if you're a basketball player and they win a gold medal, but is it more important to win the NBA championship to them, or a baseball player? Is it more important to win the World Series?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. I don't know.
But playing for your country is pretty special, and winning on that stage, especially when it's not every year.
The reason I guess I lean to the Stanley Cup, just thinking about a gold medal, is that for what you said. I mean, first of all, you got to make the playoffs.
Yep.
So it's your 82 games leading up to it, and then you have to go through 4 rounds of it. It just seems like the path is so difficult to ultimately win that. It just seems like you put in a lot more. It doesn't sound right saying you put in a lot more work, because you put all your work in from growing up all the way to that, and you got to be one of the best in the country to play for a medal.
It's very hard just to make that roster.
Yep.
And there's no salary cap. So those teams generally are even more stacked than your average NHL team, which is also the same for basketball, right? If you look at...
And they're not getting paid.
Right. But what I mean is that you can have guys like, what was it? Like if you added up the actual NHL contracts for Team USA or Team Canada, the number would have been like almost $100 million over the cap or something. It was massive. All right, we have another super chat. This one is from Spit and Chicklets with a Lundqvist and year after the Cup. Gully talked about tweaking things 1 or 2%, including grit. Feels like the team has turned it up going into the final stretch. Luds, do you agree?
Yeah. Yep. We talked about that before the game started.
Yep.
And so there's no question it's become part of, and I will argue that they're in that department, Tampa, Florida's the one that kind of set that pace here a few years ago. That was there, but Tampa's picked that up now. I don't know who else you're going to put in the same neighborhood right now. Dallas is in there. I don't know if there's another team that's playing as gritty. And there was one thing I wanted to show here, but again, it's just we don't need to look at it. I just think that this is becoming such an important part of their game, is to have that grinding grit. And it's not about dropping the gloves every single night. It's about playing in your face. And I think it really brings a group together. And right now, you've got the Jamie Benns and, those guys. But now all of a sudden there's a supporting cast in that department that are all willing. So I think teams know that this isn't just a team that scores power play goals and 4 a night and you can come back on them. They're gonna push you out of games.
We won't see Detroit again the rest of the regular season. We'd have to meet them in the Stanley Cup final, which I don't think is likely. But I'll tell you what, Luds, this point tonight keeps them in a playoff spot, because with Columbus winning, if Detroit had lost in regulation, they would have been on the outside with Columbus in that second wild card spot. Same points, but the games played tiebreaker. They played one less. So, mean, Columbus is knocking on the door, and if you look at which way they're trending and where Detroit is, I'm calling it for Bones right now in his team.
Yeah, I think they've got a lot more confidence with that.
Boy, do they.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that'll do it for tonight. Huge thank you to everybody for the super chats. You guys really fired them off tonight. That was a lot of fun. We always enjoy the interaction. And don't forget, we are right back here on Monday because the Stars host that team that we were talking about, the Utah Mammoth. We'll come back into Dallas. They're trying to solidify their playoff spot. I think they pretty much know that wild card one is their spot if they don't lose enough points. So Stars and Mammoth will play on Monday. Luds and I will be here. Sam will be at the AAC. Ryan will be here, and we'll do our full pregame show. And then, of course, we'll do the postgame afterwards. Big thank you to everybody for tuning in. And, of course, thank you for the Stars for 15 consecutive games with a point, because that's awesome. But we have to sign off. The Luds don't go anywhere, with a reminder that tomorrow is this guy's birthday.
We all silly like the mayor.